In the endless deserts of ancient Arabia, where the winds carried secrets of forgotten empires, there once lived two extraordinary nations, the people of Od and the people of Thamid. They were not ordinary tribes. They were powerful beyond imagination, giants of strength and might. Their men stood tall with broad shoulders, their arms like iron, and their presence enough to command fear and respect across the land. They believed they were chosen by destiny to rule forever, that no one could ever bring them down. They built their cities between mountains and deserts, fortresses of stone and towers that touched the skies. Their homes glowed under the sun, their gardens bloomed in the sand, and their technology amazed even those who came centuries later. They mastered the art of architecture long before modern civilization could even dream of it. They were living symbols of power, but behind their pride hid something darker: arrogance. They forgot the one who gave them life. They believed their strength came from themselves, not from their creator. The people of Od lived in a region called Akof, a vast area between Yemen and Oman. Rich in resources and beauty, their lives were luxurious, and their confidence had no limits. Their leader and prophet, Hazrat Hud, peace be upon him, was sent to remind them of humility, to guide them toward the truth. He stood before his people and said, "O my people, worship Allah. You have no other God but Him." But they laughed at him. They called him foolish. They mocked his message, and they said, "Who is stronger than us? Who can destroy us when we have conquered the land and the sky?" Their pride blinded them. They believed their massive bodies and advanced cities were proof of their superiority. They saw no need for faith, no reason for obedience. They challenged their prophet again and again, and when warnings turned into silence, divine justice began to move. The sky above Akof changed. Dark clouds gathered where the sun once shone. Behind them came the whisper of wind, a strange sound that grew louder by the hour. It began as a breeze, but within moments, it became a storm unlike anything ever seen. For 7 nights and 8 days, the wind screamed across their land. It tore down their buildings, uprooted trees, and hurled men like grains of sand into the sky. The people who once walked with pride now begged for mercy, but the storm did not stop. It ripped through every corner of their city. And when the silence finally returned, there was nothing left. No palace, no laughter, no heartbeat, only sand covering the memory of arrogance. Their story was erased from the earth, but preserved in time, as a lesson for every generation that would follow. After Od came Thamid, a nation blessed with skill, intelligence, and craftsmanship beyond measure. They lived in the rocky valleys of Al-Hijah, known today as Madan Solid in Saudi Arabia. Their mountains were not barriers, they were homes. Thamid carved palaces inside the rock itself, perfectly symmetrical and beautifully designed. Engineers today still study their work in amazement, for their architecture defied the limits of their era. But despite all their progress, they too fell into the same trap: pride. Their prophet, Hazrat Soleh, peace be upon him, was sent with a message of truth. He called them to worship the one God who had given them this gift of skill. He said, "O my people, why do you seek greatness through idols and stone? Your Lord is one. Turn to him." They demanded proof, a miracle to satisfy their arrogance. So by God's command, a she-camel emerged from a solid rock before their very eyes. A living miracle, calm and pure, a symbol of divine mercy. Saleh told them, "This camel is a sign from your Lord. Let her drink from the well one day, and you may drink the next. Do not harm her." For a time, they obeyed, but soon greed and pride took over. Some saw the camel as a threat to their power. They conspired and killed her, thinking they could escape the consequences. Saleh warned them, "You have 3 days before the punishment descends." They laughed at him again. The first day, their faces turned pale. The second day, their skin became red with fever. And on the third day, the sky thundered. The ground shook beneath their feet. And in one terrifying moment, a massive blast of sound, a scream of the earth itself ended their existence. Their powerful bodies fell lifeless to the ground. Their homes carved into mountains became their graves. Their city became a ghost of its former glory. Today, the ruins of Thamud still stand in the deserts of Saudi Arabia, carved into red cliffs. Beautiful but haunting. Tourists walk among them, taking pictures, not realizing these walls once echoed with pride, defiance, and disbelief. They are not just ancient architecture, they are warnings frozen in stone. The people of Od and Thamud shared the same destiny. They had everything: power, wealth, intelligence, and might. Yet they lacked the most important quality: humility. They forgot their creator. They thought their achievements made them eternal. But every civilization that forgets its origin meets this same end. History is not just a collection of dates and ruins. It is a mirror. When you look at Od and Thamud, you don't just see the past, you see the reflection of our modern world. Today we build skyscrapers that touch the clouds. We control machines that fly higher than birds. We create weapons that can destroy nations in seconds. And like Od and Thamud, we say, "Who can stop us?" But if history has taught one truth, it is this: arrogance is the beginning of downfall. The same God who sent the wind to Od and the earthquake to Thamud still controls the universe. The wind still blows across the deserts where Od once stood. The stones of Thamud still stand in silence, as if whispering, "Remember us." Remember what happens when strength becomes pride. Every empire, from the pharaohs to the Romans, from Od to the modern world, has one lesson written in its fall. Power is temporary, but truth is eternal. When nations forget faith, when they replace morality with greed, when humans believe they are gods of their own fate, destruction becomes inevitable. But the story does not end there. Beyond the deserts and mountains, the echoes of Od and Thamud continue to teach a deeper lesson, a lesson about choices, human nature, and the delicate balance between might and morality. In both nations, the people were given signs, time after time, miracles that could guide them back to the path of righteousness. Yet they chose arrogance over wisdom, pleasure over principle, and defiance over devotion. This is the tragedy of power without humility. It becomes a weapon against oneself. Modern humans, looking back at these ruins, see only stones and dust. But the real story is written in the hearts of those who lived it. The same arrogance that toppled Od and Thamud can rise today in boardrooms, cities, and nations where humans believe they are untouchable. The lessons from the past whisper in the wind. Remember your limits. Remember your origin. Remember that every gift, be it strength, wealth, or intellect, is a trust from the Creator, not a right to dominate or destroy. Even the smallest act of humility, caring for the weak, respecting life, and acknowledging God's guidance, could have changed the fate of these empires. If only pride had been replaced with gratitude, if only arrogance had been met with obedience, the mighty Od and Thamid might have still walked the earth. But their stories remain as eternal reminders of the fragile nature of human power. The wind that destroyed Od and the earthquake that swallowed Thamid are not just historical events. They are symbols of divine balance, of justice that transcends time and human imagination. They warn us that no matter how advanced or strong a civilization becomes, it is still bound by the laws of morality and the ultimate authority of God. So, as we study the ruins of these ancient nations, we do not only uncover stones and inscriptions, we uncover truths about ourselves, about the choices we make, the pride we nurture, and the paths we walk. The story of Od and Thamid is more than history. It is a mirror reflecting humanity's potential for greatness and its capacity for destruction. It teaches that real strength is not measured in muscles, buildings, or armies, but in humility, wisdom, and obedience to the eternal laws that govern existence. This is past lessons history where every grain of sand, every carved rock, and every ancient ruin speaks a lesson louder than any voice. True power comes from faith, humility, and respect for the one who grants life, not from arrogance or defiance.